winter storm hits the inland northwest for tonight, but a very complicated forecast will lead us to not just snow, but rain and wind throughout the day on Friday.
I'm going to leave what happened in the rearview mirror. I'm looking forward. I'm a doctor first, and I'll always be a doctor first.
Plus, we sit down with interim Spokane Health Officer Dr. Frank VELAZQUEZ as our local coronavirus cases continue to rise.
Gonzaga fans got to see the #1 ranked team in the country for the first time tonight. I'll give you a rundown of everything that happened at Craziness at the Kennel.
Plus, Governor Jay Inslee pleading with Washingtonians to avoid big holiday gatherings while keeping the door open to future restrictions as COVID cases surge all across the state.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Regina On. Let's get right into our top story of the night, and that of course is weather. Here's a live look out of our tower cam. It certainly is the calm before the storm. Earlier today, the National Weather Service issued a winter weather advisory for the inland northwest.
Meteorologist Thomas Patrick braving the cold in the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. Thomas, no snow yet it looks like, but it certainly is pretty cold out there, I understand.
Yeah, and it's not exactly calm before the storm, because if you come out here, you will definitely notice that not only is it cold, but it is actually quite windy. It's those winds of change that'll be bringing the snow into the area later on tonight, and by tomorrow morning, we'll definitely see that initial blanketing of snow across the region. Winter storm warnings in the pink shaded areas here, winter weather advisories in purple. What's the difference? Well, the areas in pink, the warnings are going to see more snow throughout the day tomorrow. In the purple areas, the advisories, it might be a half snow, half rain mix for our Friday. Here are the first shades of snowfall across the region on Doppler radar. You see that up towards Colville, Kettle Falls, extending down towards Moses Lake, but it actually is still rain in the Columbia Basin, where it actually will probably stay as rain throughout the night. And temperatures do steadily, slightly warm throughout the evening hours. As we're above 32 degrees, that snow is going to be more of a slushy, wet snow, as opposed to that fine, powdery, icy snow, if you will. And the radar is really going to fill in by tomorrow morning, right through the thick of it between about 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning. But a transition from snow to rain is going to be key for our forecast, not just in terms of what happens throughout the day on Friday, but who gets the most snow and who sees the rain and gets that snow to actually melt away on Friday. So look for those details in a few moments, guys.
All right, sounds good, Thomas. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Thank you very much. Now to tracking the coronavirus, the Spokane Regional Health District is reporting 216 new coronavirus cases today, bringing the total number of cases to nearly 12,000 in the county. One new death was reported yesterday. 75 people are currently in the hospital. What's also troubling about our local data is our positivity, or percent of positive test rate. Statewide, that figure sits at 4.9%. Meantime, in Spokane County, we're at 12.4%. The goal established by the state is to be at less than 2%.
Now, over in North Idaho, 151 new cases were reported today, bringing that total number of cases to 7,150. No new deaths have been reported. Currently, 56 people are in the hospital.
Meanwhile, here in Washington, Governor Inslee is urging Washingtonians to avoid any holiday gatherings.
Every single day matters. We cannot wait until our hospitals' halls are lined with gurneys waiting for rooms before we take decisive action.
He also urged folks to continue to mask up and social distance, cautioning that if the numbers don't slow down soon, we might have to take a couple steps back and re-implement more restrictions.
While Governor Inslee contemplates tighter coronavirus restrictions, Spokane businesses are just trying to stay afloat.
KREM 2's Brandon Jones talked with a few downtown businesses to see how they're bracing for the winter months.
Running a local business is a challenge in itself. Add a pandemic on top of that, and your strengths are pushed to limits unimaginable.
The restaurant industry has experienced adversity like no other year in recent memory. Several businesses across Spokane have permanently closed their doors. The ones that have persevered are taking it day by day.
Slower than normal, but we have a great group of regulars that come in all the time.
In today's announcement, Governor Inslee said Washington was in a similar position as we were at the beginning of the pandemic. Cases throughout the state have doubled over the last 2 weeks, and he's seriously considering making some changes. That means restrictions could once again be tightened, but more updates will come in a press conference on Monday.
So there is a lot more at our disposal to fight this virus than there was when the pandemic began.
It's been a constant battle for business owners. On one hand, this is how they make a living and provide for their families. Then there's the concern for customer health and trying to get a hold of this virus from spreading even more. One of the business owners I spoke with tonight told me it's simply been horrible over these past few months. Although times are hard, many are choosing to lean on one another for encouragement. They aren't sure when things will improve, but they'll be sticking together until that day comes.
Not a whole lot of people down here.
From Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
To say there are high expectations for this year's Gonzaga men's squad would certainly be an understatement. The Bulldogs ranked #1 in the AP preseason poll, and tonight fans got their first look at this year's squad during Craziness in the Kennel.
And our Brenna Green joining us now at Gonzaga. Good evening, Brenna.
Good evening, Regina. Yeah, if you watched this event tonight, you saw plenty of reasons why the Zags are ranked #1 in the country. Here are my top 3 moments from Craziness in the Kennel this year. Number 3 actually comes from a guy that we aren't going to see on the court this season, probably. Andrew Nembhard hit this pretty step-back 3, and it's definitely a sign for years to come. Nembhard transferred from Florida and is planning on redshirting this year, so he's not planning to play. He'll take over the point guard reins after freshman point guard Jalen Suggs heads to the NBA after this season. Number 2 was Corey Kispert taking charge right out of the gate. He had 12 points in the beginning stages of the scrimmage and showed why he's the clear leader of this team. Him and Drew Timme tied for 14 points each to lead the Zags tonight. Kispert ended up 5 of 8, while Drew ended up 7 of 10. The moment that obviously stood out tonight was Jalen Suggs' monster jam. I mean, this was something you couldn't not get excited about if you're a Zags fan. He finished with 13 points overall, but this dunk was certainly the crown jewel. Gonzaga is going to have to play in a lot of empty arenas this season, so this was a nice way to dip their toe into that situation, according to Mark Few.
This is what it's going to be like. So this probably was good, or certainly was good preparation. I mean, it's a situation where we're going to have to create our own energy, and I really think it's just a huge disadvantage for those of us like ourselves and Kansas and Duke and Kentucky and Michigan State that have just phenomenal home courts, because we're used to just getting that rush energy from our crowd.
The next time we will see the Zags in action is when they open their season November 26th against that little program called Kansas. Reporting in the Kennel, I'm Brenna Green, KREM 2 Sports.
Man.
Definitely really exciting, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for that game for sure.
Yes. All right. Well, still coming up here on KREM 2 News at 11, the race for the coronavirus vaccine is still on. The Washington State Department of Health's plan for distribution. Plus,
they can expect me to take this job very seriously because that's what I do. I think what we do is important. It's critical.
We have been following the health officer debate with Spokane's Regional Health District for weeks now. Our Whitney Ward sat down with the interim health officer, Dr. Frank VELAZQUEZ, today. Hear what he has to say, plus his take on the increase in cases in the county. That's coming up later on KREM 2 News at 11.